Finish Millwall 1, Sunderland 1. Come on, KLD, sort this shit out. Here we go, back again with another match day review, and it's finished Millwall 1, Sunderland 1. Excuse me. Bollocks. Need to get another can. Crack open a canaroonie before we start the match review. Anyway, here we go, back again with another video. It's finished Millwall 1, Sunderland 1. Before we start the review, I want to say that was a better performance overall from Sunderland. Better than the last two performances where we've lost. Millwall, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. But we've drew 1-1. Changes today was we brought in Burstow. Nothing at all from me for Burstow. Send him back to Chelsea in the January window. You know, I wish the young lad all the best in the future. You know, probably a lovely young lad, and he'll probably get better as the seasons go on. But for me, right now, is not what we need. Adil Ayush started as well. You know, for me, he did really well in the first half. Second half, he tapered off, and that's why he was taken off. Then, and also, we had Bar was the worst player on the pitch. But you know, end of the day, I want the young lad to succeed. He has his good games, his glittering moments. But today, absolutely nothing to offer whatsoever. And he was replaced by a much better Patrick Roberts. That's all I'm going to say on those three players. Ekwa came back into the game, and Ekwa was much better than he was in the past. A better performance from Ekwa. And the first half, the first 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, we were the better side. We dominated the game. We were in the faces. The high press was there that we've lost the last two games. A much better up in the faces kind of game of football, winning every second ball. The only thing we can't do is put the ball in the back of the net for the simple reason. And I did say this earlier on in my live stream. The only way we're going to score is if we get a penalty. I did say that. Look back on the live stream. Because we've got absolutely fucking nothing. And then at the end of the day, pardon me French, we've got nothing at all up top. No striker. It's a failing from the club. I'll say it now. You know, at the end of the day, we've got Tony Mowbray, who has no say who comes in. We've got probably Dodds, who has more say than Mowbray in picking the team. We've got Speakman, who brings in the players. And we've got KLD, who funds the club, along with the likes of Sartori. One way of looking at it, Sartorians and KLD have sat down with Speakman and thought, let's buy some cheap players, kids from around the world, bring them in. Surely we'll get one gem out of them four. But unfortunately, we haven't at this moment in time. They are not ready. They are not up to championship standard. And they've failed. Speakman and KLD in the striker department have failed. We're getting 10 million for Ross Stewart. We need to spend that in the January window. Yes, you've tried it your way. End of the day, I'm up for all. I know at the end of the day, I can see what they're trying to do. Keeping the club afloat, trying to get the club so it's on a good footing, a good financial footing. I get it, I really do. And they've tried to go out there and do it the cheap way, getting a kid in, make him, he might be a star in the future. You know, who knows? It's failed, it hasn't worked. Now we go to plan B. Plan B has to be assessed and put into action in the January window. We've got to go out there and spend that 10 million and maybe even more and bring in an experienced striker into this club, because we are playing well everywhere apart from up top in the striker department. It is a feeling at this club at this moment in time. You know, you go outside and you go and ask a cricket fan or even a stamp collector or train spotter. You say to a train spotter, you know, you pick a football team. You know, tell me what players you need for the team. They'll say, oh, you need a goalkeeper. Of course you need a goalkeeper. Well, you need you need players in the middle of the park. Or you need someone who puts the ball in the back of the net. What's it called? A striker. You need to buy a striker. It's not fucking rocket science. We're great around the box. We've got nothing in it. A Johnny on the spot, someone who could put the ball in the back of the net. The only chance we actually had in the whole of the game, in the whole of the 94 minutes, the only chance we had was when Ballard was clean in the penalty box and he skied the ball over the top. I ain't going to blame Ballard. For me, he was man of the match. He's head and shoulders above everybody on the team. He's an absolute giant of a defender. He's brilliant. I'll be absolutely amazed. I tell you now, right? I will be absolutely amazed if nobody comes in for Ballard in the January window. If he's even still here next season. He's an absolute class player. I'd make him captain. He's my captain. Not Luke O'Nien. I like Luke O'Nien, a good lad, Sunderland through and through, a lovely chap. You know, but for me, Ballard is just an absolute star in defence, a giant of a man in defence. He breaks up the play, his head, and over again, he defends the ball with his head, gets the ball the way it clears his lines. He scores with his head as well. But today with his foot, he puts the ball over the top. That's the only, that just tells you the way the game is. That's more, pardon me, that tells you the way it is at this moment in time. We have that much outside the box, but the only chance we had in the box, the only chance in open play was given to a defender because we've got no strikers. And as soon as Meander come on today, Burstow went off. And I'll tell you something else as well, right? This pisses me off, right? Pritchard. Why isn't Pritchard starting a game of football? Pritchard come on today and he was a breath of fresh air. He was a player that got us up there to get the goal with Clark. Clark's obviously a star. You know, he creates. He's the only outlet. Apart from anybody else on the pitch, Clark is the only outlet on that team. 5 from 5 penalties. But anyway, Pritchard, you know, it's not rocket science. He's got to start. Pritchard is one of the 3 amigos who was left in this side. You know, they made a statement of intent. They want rid of the high-earned players at the club or players who were over that threshold of an age group. They got rid of Bart. They got rid of Gooch. And Pritchard said, no, I'm a Sunderland. I want to stay at Sunderland. I'm enjoying my time at Sunderland. But they want him out. That's why. That has got to be the only reason why. Sunderland are in 9th place now. We're in 9th place. We are 3 points off Hull in 6th. We're 3 points off Hull. 3 points off Hull in 6th place. Sunderland. So, end of the day, it's still there. We're still there. We're in the running. We've got a chance. We can still make the playoffs. But we've got to go out there and buy a strike in the January window. Pritchard's one of those players. Pritchard is one of those players who brings experience into the side. He brings experience into the side. He brings in, I see him on the pitch, he's telling players what to do. And he's great with his dead balls. He's great with free kicks, corners. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to start Pritchard? The only reason why we don't start Pritchard is because the club want rid. The club want rid of Pritchard. They do. They want him out. They want to piss him off, put him on the bench. He's got to start next game. If he does not start next game, my theory is correct. I'm telling you now, if Mowbray doesn't start Pritchard, it's because Mowbray is not in charge of the team. Dodds is in charge of the team, the puppet master for Speakman. Pritchard has to start the next match. It's not fucking rocket science. Experience, the only experienced, knowledgeable player in the side is going to start next game. If he doesn't start, they want him out, and it's fucking shocking if that's the case. So anyway, Millwall scored, counter-attack, through the middle. The only time Ballard made a kind of mistake was when he went in with a challenge, and he got a yellow card for it. But there were still plenty of defenders back there. Luke O'Nien in no man's land. Hume out of position. 1-on-1 with the keeper. Puts it through. Easy. Good goal. 1-0 Millwall. Millwall probably, end of the day, good finish. And then second half came out. After 55 minutes, we finally made the changes. We brought on Dak. Dak for me is not a Sunderland player. He's not good enough. He missed the set the second half. Ball came in the box from Clark. The only kind of outlet that we get. The only kind of positional player. Like we bring balls in the box from Clark. Dak's there, he taps the ball wide. For me, get rid of Dak in January and bring somebody else in a bit more. Somebody's not going to be too injury prone. Someone who is fitter. And somebody who's a bit more creative in midfield, to be fair. And I'd even sacrifice Dak and bring a striker in. Get rid of Burstar, get rid of him. Meander, as soon as Miende came on, he was out the left-hand side on the wing. What's all that about? He's a fucking striker. Pritchard, I said Pritchard straight away, I was saying, get in the middle, Miende, you're a striker. But anyway, as I was saying, we looked better. You know, we sort of bulked up the midfield and we created a bit more, and it was Clark's brilliance. And this is why Clark will be wanted by Premier League teams in the January window for big money. It's because he creates absolutely anything from nothing. Time and time again, he tried to pass his man, he couldn't, but this time he did. Left-hand side, gets in the box, beats his man, and he completely got wiped out. He created the goal and he scored the goal. 5 penalties out of 5. That, for me, is superb from Jack Clark. He, for me, was the next man under Ballard. You get rid of, like, if we have no Ballard, no Clark, we have nothing. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Ballard and Clark are the two main players of Sunderland. Ballard does his best in defence, and Clark is superb at creating goals and scoring penalties. So if we lose Clark in the January window, we're fucked. You know, if Ballard gets injured, I'm afraid, unless Trent Austin's seat are any good, we're fecked. I do apologise for my French, my language, but that's the way it is. I say it the way it is. If we don't go out and buy an experienced striker or a striker of any such, you know, a good striker from League One who's scored a lot of goals, a striker from the Premier League who's teetering on getting game time, who's scored goals, or a quality striker from the Championship, you know, we do not want to get promoted. And if we do not want to get promoted, then what's the point? We've got, the aim is that the whole tier of the whole fucking leagues is to get promoted. You have Wrexham. They've got absolutely amazing, you know, Disney owners there, Hollywood owners there. You know, the Green Lantern, or whatever, I'm forgetting his name now. But anyway, he's come in, Wrexham, promoted from non-league to League 2. They're going to get promoted to fucking League 1. They'll be up towards the Premier League in a couple of years. You watch the space. That's what ownership's about. Wanting to succeed and drive the team up the tables. What's the point of staying in the Championship and saying, okay, let's just stay here. I don't want to get promoted. Let's just sit in the middle of the table. What's that about? We've got to get promoted, whether it's a 5-year, you know, this is now, I don't know how many seasons now we've been owned by KLD, but we've got to get a striker. And send Mason Burstow back to Chelsea in January with, you know, a good luck card. There we go. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Ballard man of the match. Clark almost man of the match. Pair them are absolute standouts in our side. Standouts, them two players. I want Tony Mowbray to succeed, but I want Tony Mowbray. Right, let's get different kind of perspective on. If Tony Mowbray is not in charge of the team and Dodds and Speakman are in charge of the team, Tony Mowbray needs to get a pair of fucking mandingo balls and stand up and say, I want to be in charge of the team. If Tony Mowbray's in charge of the team, fair enough. He needs to start saying to flipping the owners, get me a striker in this side. Right, there we go. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care. God bless me. God go with you. Subscribe to the channel. And we move on to the next game. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. We're 3 points off the playoffs. But we've got to invest in this team. Right, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. And I love yous. Take care.